Is there a link I didn't get that I don't know about? Okay, no, that was the one that was successful.
No. Well, that's, the exception of 3 people, got everybody in their 90s and 80s that wants to. What else on Mondays?
No, I don't. Figure it out here.
And they literally gave so many notes and like, and I just told them some basics and I was, this is, Adobe update, pretty awesome.
Let me know when you're ready to go, madam.
And Joy was mentioning that she has,
Yeah.
tons of stuff too, from, ran the newspaper
Mhm.
that year. So she's on my list. She says, let's sit down. Probably gonna be like a 3 or 4 hour meeting just with her. He's gonna create a whole bunch of stuff for everybody.
Sure.
All right, I want to see myself.
Want to get some snippets so that before.
This is not live. That's why we're doing this.
Oh, it's not live?
Yeah.
Ryan, you know.
All right, good evening, everybody. Tonight's meeting for the planning and zoning is set to get underway. Today's date is February 2nd, 2026. Time is approximately 6 p.m. And Ms. Jane, would you please call the roll of members?
Pleasure. Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Tim Martins,
Here.
Member Kathy Thomas.
Here.
Member Names Pritchard,
Yep, here.
Member Melinda Parker.
Here.
Member Jessica Carey. Here. Member Ann Polo. Here. Thank you.
Very good. If please stand if you can, and we'll do the pledge of allegiance, followed by the approval of the agenda. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God,
Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Before we take a motion to approve the agenda, I've got a slight kind of clarification. Item number 2 should have been separated, but the Municode software did not break it out. So let's refer to the flume change as 2A and the rezoning as 2B. And it will, that portion will actually be quasi judicial. So we'll have 1, 2A, 2B, 3, 4, 5. Make sense? Anybody have any questions? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept the agenda as changed?
Second.
Motion's been moved and properly second. All those in favor, or any other discussion? Any from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. Motion passes unanimous. Item number 1 is review and approval of the January 5th meeting minutes for the planning and zoning.
Second.
Motion has been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. Motion passes unanimous. Okay, public hearing and ordinance will be, so we'll do the first 2A.
So we're gonna just give the PZB an update on our processes related to the to our new process related to our I don't know why I'm going blank on what we're doing. Petitions.
Okay, is that before or after this?
We would like to do it before, just so the PZB gets an idea of.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so, yeah, Ms. Hectus, you have the floor.
Good evening. I think when you guys got the agenda, you saw there was a few different things that were located on the agenda. I'm going to defer to Nicole for exactly how we're going to be presenting the items to you going forward. We were bringing ordinances to you, and the city commission is the one that has the authority to approve the ordinances. So I think it was a little bit confusing sometimes when you would get those ordinances. We'll be presenting them as petitions to you, bringing all the information to you, going through the items, answering your questions, getting your recommendation, which is the most important thing to take to the city commission. So we'll be still doing that. So Nicole, do you want to explain a little better?
Yes, I think, so when I came on board to be in-house, to be a resident attorney here for the city and have a little more time devoted to the, to staff and the planning commission and the city commission, one of the things that the city manager said is he did want me to prepare ordinances going forward. And typically attorneys do that because ordinances are the law. And to get to an ordinance, because as you all know, you've seen the ordinances and they have to be very particularly worded and, you know, they become the final embodiment of what the legislative body adopts. But the process along the way is important. And one of the things I think is that it's important for both planning staff and for you all to not get all hung up on the legalities of an ordinance, but to participate robustly in developing the ideas that will ultimately go in an ordinance, right? So going forward, as Stacy said, planning staff will be preparing petitions. It won't be in an ordinance form, but it will be the substance, the real language that you all need to focus on and give your input. And if either planning staff or this body recommends denial for any reason, then it will go on to the city commission as a petition so that they have time to carefully consider the recommendations. If both planning staff and this board say, yes, this looks good, we're moving it along, maybe with some revisions, then after it comes out of the out of the P&Z board, I'll draft the ordinance with the assistance of staff and taking into account your input, and that's what will then get presented to the city commission. So I'm not involved in the substance per se. That's what planning staff comes up with. That's what you all do. But it gives the process a little more time to work through those ideas and to not have it be in a formal ordinance from the very get-go, because that in some respects makes it seem like it's already a done deal or that everyone's figured it out, when in reality, this whole process of everyone's input is what's important. So, and it makes it a little easier for planning staff because then they're just advertising the entire planning and zoning board meeting one time with all of the petitions listed. So for that reason, I won't be reading ordinance titles here anymore. Planning staff will just present the petitions to you and you'll focus on those.
Congratulations.
Very good. All right, thank you to both of you. So let's look at item number 2 under the public hearing and ordinance. It is the future land use map amendment for from ag to county ag to city ag under the annexation number 40. Go ahead.
Got the PowerPoint up, and so I think if you recall, there was an annexation number 40. It was I think 11 parcels, 7 different property owners, and that was finalized in the January meeting, January 12th commission meeting. And so now, of course, the next step is to change the land use and the zoning so that it's city land use and zoning and not county, Alachua County.
No, we're not on the rezoning yet.
Oh, sorry, land use, yes. So the recommended motion to the city commission is to approve the ordinances that amend the future land use classifications. They were all Alachua County rural agriculture future land use to city of Newberry agriculture. It's the same density, so it's a like for like, 1-for-1 change. And those are for the annexation number 40 properties. Actually, all except for 4 or 5 properties that were contiguous and owned by one property owner, and that constituted a large scale amendment. So this is the small scale amendment. I think the next PZ will have the large scale. So, and I can show that on the map. That's coming up next. So you see the city limits, and the annexations are that sort of purple color, and the ordinances are called out. Those are the ordinance numbers for the annexation specifically. So the most northern, you'll see, it looks like 3 properties, but actually I think 4. That's the large scale. So that's not included in this presentation. That's got to go through a separate process to the state, a transmittal. For anything, the threshold's 50 acres. And so those 4 different parcels are greater than 50 acres. So you'll see, actually, I've got a couple of. So yes, a couple close-ups. Okay, so this is just south of that most northern bundle of properties, and it's actually two separate parcels, both annexed in and owned by the same property owner, annexed under annexation number 40. You'll see their agriculture, rural agriculture, Alachua County. The next one, see, outlined in that blue it's a little hard to see, but the outlines, blue and called out with the text, the parcel number. And so that one is sort of towards the middle of the city. I think it's ordinance 2025-77. I think that's the one. And then there's, on the, let's see, it's east of that, I think it's ordinance 2025-83. Again, all of these are rural agriculture, Alachua County rural agriculture. And then this one is the most, I think it's the most eastern, ordinance 2025-78, that property. And I think it's just, I think it's just south of that, ordinance 2025-79. And then this one's the most southern part. You'll see the southern tip of the city of Newberry, ordinance 2025-76. And so those are all the close-ups of the properties that were recently annexed and recommending to amend the land use map to go from Alachua County rural agriculture to city of Newberry agriculture. Again, it's a like for like change in the land use on the parcels. They were recently annexed on January 12th, 2026. That was the final reading. And all from Alachua County rural agriculture to city of Newberry agriculture.
Stop need for what?
I noticed the map had everything as 2025, by the way.
They were 2025 carryovers. Yes,
And these all the backup has 2026.
Yes, those will be the new ordinance numbers for the land use. And
Okay.
the map was referenced on the annexations, but finalized in 26, but they were 2025 annexations.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Just so we're all on the same page. All right. Anything else then on that part? For
any
you?
questions?
Okay. Any questions from the board?
All I was asking is what is it that staff is looking for from us?
Yes, a recommendation to the city commission for approval of the ordinances, changing the land use to future land use from Alachua County rural agriculture to city of Newberry agriculture.
All right, very good. Hey, so we're just changing these like for like, and what's the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
Motion's been moved and properly second. Is Jessica down there?
Mhm.
It's board member Urquhart on the motion and Carrie on the second. Okay. Is there any further discussion from the board? Any from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. Motion passes unanimous. All right, and then we'll move to 2B, which is the quasi judicial on the same parcels.
Yes, yes, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. All right, when we're going to enter into quasi judicial, this means that the board will stop being a legislative body and become a judicial body, which means that we have to follow certain rules and adhere to different standards of decision making. Primary rule we must follow is concerns testimony, and the substantial and competent evidence standard must be met with the judicial board and makes a decision. The statement states, the standard states the following: all public testimony will be taken under oath. Everyone testifying will be subject to cross-examination. All documents and exhibits shall be entered into evidence, with the giving of a pending testimony is limited to experts. Closing arguments will be limited to the evidence of record. Just like I don't read all the procedures anytime we do a commission meeting, we're going to move off of reading everything in regards to the procedure. I'll follow the procedure. I'm just not going to read it every time. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. So Madam Attorney, could you read in the ordinance and the resolution of the record title only?
We're not doing that anymore with our new process.
Okay. And are you going to swear in the applicants and the staff?
I can. If there is anyone who's going to present evidence or testimony on this particular item, if you'll raise your right hand and I'll read a statement and then indicate if you affirmatively. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Very good.
All right, disclosure of ex parte. We'll start at the far end. Board member Carrie? Ms. Thomas?
No.
Ms. Polo?
No.
Ms. Parker?
No.
Mr. Urchet?
No.
All right, very good. All right, well, let's begin with the staff overview. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so these are the same exact parcels that were annexed in annexation 40. And so the recommended motion is to the city commission approve ordinances amending the zoning districts from Alachua County agriculture to city of Newberry agricultural for all of these properties.
Very good. Is there any applicants here? Are any of y'all applicants for the accessory? No? Okay. All right, any public testimony or public comment about the annexations? Seeing none? Okay. I'm sure you're not going to cross-examine yourself. Does any of the board members wish to ask staff any questions about the annexations? Seeing none? I'm not going to do a final argument on yourself, I assume. And Madam Attorney, could you just advise the decision-making body of the applicable law and the factual findings for the record?
Yes, so the evidence that you heard and that's in the backup before you, you're to consider that in making your decision. And you should base your decision on have the requirements of the comprehensive plan and the code been met. And you should base that on the competent substantial evidence that was presented to you.
Very good. Thank you very much. And if there's no further deliberations, what's the pleasure of the board?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Chet, a second by Mr. Parker. There's no further discussions. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. Motion passes unanimous. On the rezonings. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Item number 3 is a city-initiated small-scale future land use map amendment on public facilities. Miss Stacy, I take it you must be doing this one. All right.
Sunk a little too low.
What's wrong with us short people?
Welcome to the tall chairs. We need tall.
Right there, I'm like short.
I knew what she was doing.
Sharing.
You all can see it? Yeah.
I was seeing her move it one before.
Oh, I'm one slide. Sorry. I see it now. So good evening. I'm going to do a little historic background here because I think a few of you were here when we designed the PF zoning district, which is the public facilities zoning district. We had a public facilities land use and we didn't have a corresponding zoning. So it was roughly 2022 to 2023. So if you were on the board then, you probably remember this coming to you. We utilized it at that point to give the environmental park, city hall, and the public works yard, the public facilities zoning designation. What that is basically city-owned property gets their own designation through this creation of that zoning district. So back then, after those 3 parcels were zoned PF, they should have gone ahead and taken stock of all the city parks, all the city properties that we own, everything, and change the zoning on those. We haven't had that. We haven't done that. So we're going to be bringing you a 3-month, it's going to take 3 months by the time we get through all of them. You're going to see them. We're going to bring you a 3-month public facilities lesson going forward. So for the first item that I have this evening, it's the land use that we're going to change on the parcels. And then the second will be the rezoning, which we'll do that hearing right after, or that hearing right after this one. This is the city-owned parks, totaling roughly 11 acres of the smaller city parks. The next one that you will see will be the large parks, the ones that have to go to the state for the review of those changes because of their acreage. And then the third one will be all the other municipal properties that we own, getting everything changed to the public facilities. So I'll go ahead and start my presentation. Do you have any questions about that after? Okay. So the recommended motion to the city commission would be to approve the ordinance amending the future land use map from commercial, recreation, and residential low density to public facilities and land on city-owned properties. If approved, the first reading of the ordinance will be held on Monday, February 23rd, 2026. So here's the rough shot of the pictures that's showing all of them together. I'm going to go through some of them. This is not actually Easton. Easton got removed. We advertised for Easton. We're keeping the little, see the little square on there? That's the Pro Ball building. We're keeping that one on because it's not anywhere close to 50 acres. But Easton is coming off and Champions would be coming off. There, you're going to see those next month for the large scales because those are the large parks. But the little tiny square there, we're going to keep on there. This one is Martin Luther King. Then we have Lois Fort. Berry Park right here, neighboring the building here. Jimmy Durden. Oops. One of the things I wanted to kind of explain is all of our parks are pretty active parks. They've all got baseball, they've got soccer, they've got archery, they've got all sorts of active, it's more active. Our current recreation that we have on some of the parks are more passive, conservation passive. And I don't really think many of these parks meet that. That's why public facilities was a better way to go because they are more active park facilities.
That's a question.
Yeah.
Why not have them as rec? Are we just trying to keep it all in one big
Keep it all in one big, it's
bubble?
bubble for the city. Yes, all city owned properties. We were gonna divide them out and then it was basically didn't make much sense. So we're just keeping it all public facilities for city owned properties going forward. So this would be the summary of the small scale land use amendment to the public facilities and land for city owned parks. I just listed those parks out. Like I said, next month you'll see the larger ones. Those will be the large scale that have to go to the state. I'm trying to make it a little bite-sized pieces, make it a little easier. Any questions?
All right, sounds pretty administrative and straightforward, but anybody other questions?
Yeah.
Any other questions?
No, she already asked the question.
Gotcha.
I had one question, actually.
Yeah.
So the main thing that I saw that was the difference was just the reclassification. There's a couple of areas that would have up to 80% use change, correct?
Yes.
That's the only
Going
difference.
from the,
Going to the public facilities
that's correct.
classification. So when you're looking at, like, say, a Lowe's Park, that's much more passive. There's not the presumption that it's going to be 80%. It just has the capability of changing up to that if
Yes, it's-
anything were to change later on, correct?
Yes, it's a, I'll go back.
I just want to make sure that that's kind of clear because in the packet it wasn't as clear.
Impervious surface, impervious surface, sorry. Is what you're talking about of the 80 versus the 20. So recreation is 20%, where public facilities is 80% of the impervious surface.
Like when we look at the bigger parks that are not in part of
Yes.
this, the ones that you removed, those ones are already at 80%, I'm assuming.
No, they're at recreation, so they're at the 20%.
They're at 20% because it's
Yeah.
mainly fields.
Yes,
Gotcha.
that's correct.
That I wanted
Yeah.
the classification there.
Yes.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So on page 44 of the application,
Mm-hmm.
it has all the breakdowns, but throughout the breakdowns, the parcel numbers are a little different, the acreages are a little different. Like, for example, Martin Luther King Park is 0.7 acres on parcel 2353, 0.23 acres on 2354, 0.37 on 2351.
Mhm.
Is that because it has to be separated because of there's a building on there, or why is there different parcels versus just keeping it all in one parcel? I'm sorry if it's a dumb question,
No, it's
but
not a dumb question, and I'm glad you brought that up. So the way we purchased it in 3 pieces.
okay,
One of the things we're going to be working with Nicole on is something called a unity of title. And so you will see many of these numerous 4 or 5 for Lois Fort and 3 for Martin Luther. You're going to see those become one parcel down the road when we have that
Okay.
process in effect.
okay,
Those were the 3 pieces of property that we purchased that made Martin Luther King. The 5 parcels or 4 parcels that we purchased or that we own that are Lois Fort Park. So we listed them separately.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hold off on that one in case we get the property on the website. Right?
Yeah.
All right, if there's no further discussion from the board and from the public? Yes, sir.
Just a clarification, I need, so.
Just introduce your,
Come right here. This will pick your voice up.
We get to hang out with us.
Paul Hornby,
So I'm very partial to Lowe's Sport Park. I go there about every day, walking my dog. My wife and I enjoy that park very much. So I just want to make sure, like down the road, if it's classified as public facilities, that there's some wiggle room to sort of change the park into something else that's other than recreation. I don't know if just maybe to what the person's earlier comment. I don't know if this is a dialogue, if brought this up, but that's my concern. If they're public can be assured that that will remain a park. Like,
Yes, there was, there was no indication that any of these would ever change from parks and recreation. They're just changing the land use and zoning to public facilities because it's owned by the city. There's still going to be the parks that we've listed. They're probably going to be better parks because of this, going down the road. Because I know one of the things that's been brought up specifically about Lois Fort was, I think, an amphitheater or something. The sound, and that right now can't be done under the recreation. So making it the public facilities, it allows it to be some of those amenities. When we did the comprehensive plan, some of the things, as that process went through, we heard what folks wanted at some of the parks, more of the parks. And so some of those things are coming through now, and this is helping to make that happen. Yes,
appreciate it.
thank you.
Thanks, sir. Any other public comment? Back to the board. We have a motion and a second on the floor, I believe, or do we not? Did you motion?
I'll motion to move.
Second.
Okay, well, if we didn't, we have it now. Urchet and Parker on the second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it, unanimous. All right, that was item number 3.
Like that ticket.
Number 4 is the rezoning of the aforementioned properties. We will transition back to a quasi judicial procedure. And again, the same standard applies. All public testimony will be taken under oath. Everyone testifying will be subject to cross-examination. All documents and exhibits shall be entered into evidence. The giving of opinion testimony is limited to experts. Closing arguments will be limited to the evidence of record. Madam Clerk, would you re-swear any? Is there anybody new that needs to be sworn in? Nobody came in, right? Okay. All right. Well, standing on the previous assertions, before we begin on this item, let's disclose any ex parte communication that may have bearing or influence on any voting member's decision. And we'll start at this end this time. Mr. Urchet?
No.
Parker? Hold on. Thomas? Kara? Very good. Thank you very much. And take it away. Staff presentation or overview.
All right, so we just did the land use change on those, we requested the land use change on those same parks. The next step is to institute that rezoning that I told you, the rezoning, that the zoning district that was created back in 22-23 that many of you may have been a part of. And now that's just applying that zoning category to the land use so that they're compatible with the comprehensive plan. Trying to see here, there we go. So again, the recommendation to the city commission would be for you all to approve ordinance amending the zoning districts from commercial, central business district, residential, mixed single family, mobile home 2, and residential single family 2 to public facilities on city owned properties. If approved, that first reading of the ordinance will be held on Monday, February 23rd, 2026. Again, here is the map of the parks, the general overall map of the parks. Then we have the parks that we just discussed, Martin Luther, the small Pro Ball at Easton, the Martin Luther King Park, Lois Fort, Berry Park, our neighbor here, and Jimmy Durden. Rezoning to public facilities for city-owned parks as listed previous. Do you have any questions?
I,
The recommendation, Becca.
Yep.
so just because since now we're in quasi judicial, I want to make sure that our citizen Paul question is on the record too about making sure that, you know, the concern of it being
Change to something other.
being changed from parks and recs to public facilities, that it could become something bigger that the public cannot use, or it gets, used in another way, that wouldn't be accessible to the public, and takes away the purpose of actually having that space for our community.
I don't believe that that is anything that has ever been brought to my attention, that that is the intent of doing this.
Like I said, it's just since we're in quasi judicial, I figured I'd get it on the legal record as well.
Any other public comment on this item, on the rezonings?
Another question.
No.
Oh, wait, Carrie.
Noticed, Freddie Warmack Park is on this. That can be added on the next one. Want a clarification, because I was like, that one's about the same size as some of these small ones. I didn't know if it was left out on purpose.
No, not on purpose, accident, so you'll see.
Okay, all right. Sorry, didn't mean to call you out, Stace. I didn't mean to call you out, Stace. No, I was like, wait, what are the other small ones?
All right, there's no other discussion. Madam Attorney, could you advise the decision-making body of the applicable law and factual findings again?
Again, you've heard the verbal testimony and you have the written in your backup, and you should base your decision on the competent substantial evidence.
Okay. If there's no other discussion, what is the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
Okay.
Again, Richard and Parker. Those,
Nice ring to it. It has a nice ring to it.
or when somebody else will have an attorney firm.
Gonna say.
So fast. I mean, like, nobody.
Oh, yeah. Office.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Guys have it. Motion passes unanimous.
Morgan.
Oh my
Okay. Item number 5, under the agenda items, code discussion on appendix B, land development regulations. Ms. Hectus, you have the floor on this one. Item 5. Go ahead.
Yes. So we put this off, this is an agenda item because this is for discussion. This is one of those things that we're bringing forward to you as petitions so that we can work through a lot of the different nuances of the code, bringing forward to you what we already have, changes that we think could be made to the code, and so on and so forth. So this petition is our petition number 17, which is examination of code section 4.2.41, commercial kennels, veterinary clinics, and small animal boarding facilities. And that's land development regulation 2609. That's our internal file system name and number. So what we're looking at this evening, the Planning and Zoning Board, is to help us and provide direction to staff for a recommendation to make to the City Commission on this code section. So I always start my slides off with how do we get here? So staff received an application for a special exception for the commercial kennel, small animal boarding, etc. And after getting a few of these requests, when staff has meetings with senior staff, we discuss some of the calls that we get, some of the common themes that we receive. And this was one of those items where we had gotten a few requests for the same items related to the commercial kennels. So staff is also not only responsible for the land development code, but we're also responsible for examining the city comprehensive plan to make sure that these uses are even contemplated in those zoning districts. And it was at that juncture that we found some inconsistency between the two, and there were no definitions related to the uses. So we usually like to have definitions related to the uses as well. And then, so we're going to be going through the existing code and comprehensive plan with you to examine some of those possible changes to make the land development regulations consistent with the comprehensive plan and to possibly allow for more opportunities of these types of businesses. So for those in the audience and for you all that don't have your packets printed in front of you, I've gone ahead and I've pulled up the 4.2.41 commercial kennels, veterinary clinics, and small animal boarding facilities. And I don't need to bore you all with reading it all because you have the paper also in front of you, I think, as well. I added that so you guys could keep referring back to it. But basically, it sets parameters for those commercial kennels, veterinary clinics, and small boarding facilities that are located on arterial highways within the agriculture zoning district. that follow these, that would be allowed under a special exception. And here are those parameters. So the minimum has to be, acreage has to be 4 acres. The structures housing the dogs, or other domesticated animals, should be completely enclosed and designed to suppress noise. The structures housing dogs or other domesticated animals, and any other, or any outdoor area allocated for such use by animals shall be located a minimum of 50 feet from any property line and 200 feet from any residential zoning district. Ag is not considered a residential zoning district. A minimum of 25-foot landscape buffer shall be provided between the facility and adjacent properties. The use of outdoor areas by the animals shall occur between 7 a.m. and 9 p.m. Overnight boarding shall be limited no more than 30 consecutive days. And veterinary clinics that do not provide overnight boarding services are not subject to the 4-acre minimum lot size requirement. So that's our current code right now. And with that, looking at the land development code, we then have to look also at the comprehensive plan. So listing on the next few slides, without boring you, are the agriculture land use categories from our comprehensive plan. I'll go through them pretty quickly just so you can see what types of uses are permitted in the ag zoning districts. And then I can show you where the commercial kennel falls in here as well. So intensive agriculture are permitted in agriculture, civiculture, solar farms, and mining is also permitted in ag. Then we have also, in addition, the processing, storage, and sale of agriculture products and commodities which are not raised on the premises. Riding or boarding stables, for instance, are some of those. Commercial kennels, veterinary clinics, and animal shelters. And here's where we found some discrepancy in the language. Group homes, childcare centers, cottage industries, private clubs and lodges, cemeteries. Here's just a list of things that are listed and permitted in ag currently.
Pretty wide.
It's pretty wide, yes. And the density is set here as well, which is 1 home per 5 acres. So the minimum lot size in ag is supposed to be 5 acres. We allow, as far as the residential side goes, individual lots, subdivided lots, up to 25 lots. That's the small scale rural subdivision that you all may have seen. And then our planned rural residential development, the PRRD lots. So then, once you look at the comprehensive plan, once you look at the land development code, you can go to the special exceptions, because some of those listed in our land development code require special exceptions. The kennels require a special exception. So these are all the other special exceptions that are required in the ag zoning district. And number 10 is the one that we're paying most attention to for today. Sawmills are special exceptions, livestock or poultry slaughterhouses are, agriculture equipment related machinery sales, fertilizer storage and sales, riding and boarding stables, and then commercial kennels we have here. Commercial kennels, veterinary clinics, and animal shelters, provided that no open runs or open air structures used for housing of animals shall be located within 300 feet of any lot line. Commercial kennels, veterinary clinics, and animal shelters meeting the criteria outlined in section 4.2.41 may be located within 50 feet of any adjacent property line. So going back, we already saw 4.2.41, which is what we're going to be potentially asking the commission to revise. So there's other things, airplane landing fields, public buildings and facilities that we just approved, churches, other houses of worship, and so on. Child care centers, recreational vehicle parks, and commercial campgrounds. These are all other things that are allowed as special exception in our ag zoning district. Small scale rural event centers, small rural subdivisions. Those are the small scale rural subdivisions I mentioned earlier. So the summary of changes. So if we go back, and I'll go back to the code section here in a second and show you some of the things that we know we have to update because they just don't match with the comprehensive plan. And then there's some other things that we don't feel like code enforcement can handle. You'll see what I'm talking about when we get to the language. And then the other thing that I'll ask you all to help with is the last piece. But we've got to change the name of the code section to match the comprehensive plan. Right now, it would change the small animal boarding to animal shelter. So that would be consistent with each other. Increase the acreage from 4 acres to 5 acres to be consistent with the comprehensive plan. Got to do that. Edit other parts of the code such as F, which is too hard to enforce. So when I go back, we'll see what that is. And then one of the suggestions was to create a number 2 of the code section to allow set parameters to bring to the commission. Some may include setting the number of animals to be boarded, which is a little hard to enforce sometimes. Basically the level intensity that we might allow that's not on a principal arterial or that secondary type of use. If acreage is 10 acres or above, you can meet the parameters of 1 because you're double the minimum acreage size in ag, and then other options to discuss. So I'm going to go back up to our code section. So some of the changes that we knew to be consistent with the comprehensive plan, we wanted to bring the 4 acres. Can you see my cursor? Yeah. To the 5. And then down at the, oops, sorry, the next page. Overnight boarding shall be limited to no more than 30 consecutive days. I mean, who's going to go out and count those days and have code enforcement continue to, count those days? So we thought that was something that would be setting code enforcement up for failure. The veterinary clinics, it's got no acreage limit as if they do not provide overnight boarding services. So we figured we could make their 4 acre, a 5 acre minimum at a minimum to change it to be consecutive with the comprehensive plan, but then also make it so that veterinary clinic, it was a little clearer. We were going to write that a little bit clearer. So the request was to add, see, we have a 1 commercial kennels, veterinary clinics, and small animal boarding facilities located on an arterial highway, the number 1 there. We were thinking about adding a number 2 down here, which is what would be setting up some of those parameters that I described in that last slide, that would be allowing these commercial kennels, veterinary clinics, and small animal boarding facilities in more of the ag rural areas of the city instead of just on 26. And so when I was looking at the different codes, I looked at the city of Alachua, I looked at Alachua County, and I can pull some of those up as an example if you would like to see those. But going back down to the code section, the things that we would need to set up the parameters for would be, oops. If we decided to move forward and create a lesser degree, because the first level is on the arterial highway, if we're going to allow it on the more rural areas of the city, we would have to create that number 2, and we could do it by setting up different parameters that you all could help us design, which would be, maybe the number of animals. Like I'd suggested, if it's 10 acres or above, you could, if you met the parameters of number 1, you could minus the arterial highway, you could fit in there. And then any other options that you wanted to start discussing. So we could open the discussion if.
Okay. All right, so I'm hearing 2 different tracks. One is a few amendments to item number 1.
Yes.
And then the second, bigger, broader, deeper discussion probably has to do with whether or not there's an appetite or discussion about adding number 3. Did that start?
That's correct.
Okay. So let's take these kind of in order, and we will look at number 1 first under the commercial. So we're not, again, making any final decisions or anything. This is just sort of feedback for the staff. Under 1A, does anybody have any heartburn about changing it from 4 to 5 to make it more consistent?
Just makes sense.
Makes sense, okay. B is the structures housing the dogs or domesticated that have to be enclosed. That seems fairly rational to me. Staff had no issue with that one, right? Okay. Head nod on that one to keep as is for now. Okay. Item C is the structures housing the dogs or domesticated animal located shall be located minimum 50 feet from any property line and 200 feet from any residential zoning district. Staff had no heartburn or changes, suggestions on that one. Do we agree with that one?
Question, just out of curiosity.
Mr.
So
got a question?
for regular farms of other sizes, let's just say more than 5 miles, what are the restrictions for them to have a barn from a property line? Is it similar or are we doing undue hardship on smaller?
No, so a barn would be, you can see here in this code section, I'll use the, riding and boarding stables, provided that no building used for housing of animals shall be located within 300 feet of any lot line.
So that's 300 feet for large animals.
Mhm.
The dogs,
There's no
any size, 200 feet.
Right.
Okay, and that's,
Other provisions in the code for,
and that's only for
I'm saying 50 feet.
50 feet.
200 feet from any residential, because some of them might be backed up to a residential, so.
So to go back to number one, that is parameters under commercial kennels, veterinarians, and animal boarding facilities located on an arterial highway within the ag zoning district. Those are the parameters that have to be
I'm
met.
assuming when we talk about arterial highways, I'm gonna go
26 and 2741.
be the only ones. So there's multiple parcels and people that have farms that are on roads that are not even paved.
Oh, yes.
So so if I'm looking through the loopholes, then they would not have to follow guidelines, correct? They would just be a regular
As
ag.
long as they buy off of the,
If they're off the main road, they don't have to apply to this.
Or if they're on an arterial highway, they have to meet these provisions.
But if they're not, they're off on a like just a dirt
That's item
road.
number 2.
Yeah,
That's track number.
That, I understand that, but currently there are no policies
yes.
that would apply for that, correct?
There are. So if you were going to be a boarding stable, you would have to come through and you'd have to meet those provisions as a special exception.
Okay. We didn't go over the special exceptions, so I'm assuming a special exception could be, you don't
Yes,
meet.
they're right here. All of these are the special exceptions that have to come in and get.
If they meet one of them.
And
So if they are not on the first statement of our arterial highway, then that would be just, you have to meet an exception to meet all the other requirements,
sir.
correct? Am I
Yes.
understanding that correctly? Okay.
Yes, because you have to, so if you meet all of this, so first you would go to the ag zoning district, which I have here. Get onto here, so you had it. Oh, I guess I don't have it.
I'm glad you have this because I was trying to follow. I was like, wait a second. So then it means like there's certain people that are on ag land that would be susceptible to it.
Let me pull this up here.
You see, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
That's okay. I thought I had it on here. Sorry. I thought I had already.
No,
pulled it
it's
up.
okay. I appreciate you looking it up.
It's one of those tabs. It might be hidden by the.
It is, but it's not I don't want to close those in case I need to go to.
Don't go, that worst case scenario, I can always come back and.
Oh, here it is. Okay, so for ag. So you come to us, you say, oh, my property is zoned ag, I want to do this. We would go to the code section. Just gonna do the shortcut and go straight to it, because sometimes, there we go. You would come down to what all are your permitted principal uses, permitted accessory, and then you'd go down to special exceptions. So commercial, oh, I did have it on there.
Okay.
It was.
It was the number 10. Okay, that's what I was trying to find.
Yes, I apologize.
No, it's okay. I was like, I thought I read it. I was like,
We'll go back there.
It's highlighted on the presentation.
It is.
yeah, I was like, wait a second. I was like,
I missed it.
no, it's okay. So the number 10 on the presentation.
If you have ag, you'd come here, you say, oh, I want to do this kennel. Let me see if I meet the parameters, provided that no open runs or structures or housing of animals shall be located within.
So that's the clarification. So this is my question, okay? This along with the timing. If you have animals that are overnight and you have to let them out to use the restroom during those times, could there be essentially a violation of our code? What if they have a run that's within whatever feet that's permitted during day use,
So-
then they're allowed to go out, because dogs have to go, like, they're not gonna have like an indoor bathroom for those time and hours. I think that's absolutely gonna reasonable, especially when, you know,
Yes.
I'm thinking about the reason why we use the kennels and the ag, so the animals can have a more free
Yes.
range experience. At least what I've experienced. So that was my question, that I felt like there was a disparity. If we're taking feedback on, there needs to be some leniency there. Because I think cows are gonna make probably more noise than a couple dogs going out to go use the bathroom.
Yeah, especially when it's time to get rid of their babies.
Right. Or, you know, there's other things, smell factors, things like that, you know? So like, I think there's other nuisances that could be in this exception for properties that are off the main artery.
Yeah.
When you're thinking about that, but I'm just trying to think of like how some of our properties are being added and exited.
Yeah.
Like, some of them are next to residential, so are we making limitations? Or as long as they're over 5 acres, they have more.
So the residential that you're talking about, ag is not considered residential. So if you're surrounded
No,
by
like-
ag, but if you're near like RSF1, RSF2, there are other parameters that you.
That's what I'm talking about.
In addition to those, but this is ag and ag. This is
Ag and ag.
Yes,
If they're surrounded by ag, then it's just the 200 feet.
300 feet. This is your first. So if you're in ag and you want to do this, you're located within 300 feet of any, or your open air run structures, whatever, within 300 feet of any line.
So it's more,
Commercial kennels, veterinary clinics, and animal shelters meeting the criteria outlined in section 4.2.41 may be located within 50 feet. So it reduces it if you meet those parameters in 4.2.41. So if you're going to be just a special exception,
what is our definition of a commercial kennel?
that's the other piece that has to be added. There are no definitions of any of those. That's one thing that we found was a discrepancy. Always, when you have your uses, you should have definitions. There were no definitions of the commercial kennels.
I mean, the veterinary clinic makes sense. You have to have a doctor presiding. That's common sense to me. But yeah, anybody could say I have a commercial kennel just because I have an LLC.
Sure.
So I'm just, you know, throwing the legalese there. Sorry. Thank you for letting me problem solve through my head. Appreciate it.
Did I answer your question?
But yeah, I mean, like, I wanted the clarification because it's saying 250 here. So it seems like the current exception is at a higher level of threshold. Just because it's not off of a main roadway. But we're increasing it from 4 acres to 5 acres,
Yes.
correct? So they were having to do that. So they have additional acreage there
Yes.
to make up for the difference. So I think it's negligible. What if this, whatever you found has already current established buildings or things set up? Are we gonna make additional variances for existing businesses?
No, existing businesses, we would make them try to come into compliance as best as they possibly could. If we create, if they're if they're in the rural areas, more off the
Of major arteries.
major artery, or major arterials, we would try to make them come into compliance as best as they could. And then, we would do things like we would look and see what code enforcement complaints, things that have been, you know, reported to us, et cetera. We would try to make them come into compliance as best as they could. If they couldn't meet it, then they would have to.
Dismantle. Got it. Thank you. Appreciate your clarification.
Yes.
Item number, or part D, minimum 25-foot landscape buffer shall be provided between the facility and the adjacent properties.
Okay, I have a question. Too. Also. This goes back to the off the main highway. Like that. What protects the farmer with the farms from people complaining? 'Cause my family has a farm and we field a lot of those calls. We've been there for over 100 years. People are building around, so what protects the ag end of this from people complaining and
From your farm, the right to farm act.
and the right to have the road to use and the right to have the cow noise and the cow smell
Right.
that we've used forever and we, you know, they're way before a neighborhood or,
Right.
so what protects them?
The farm act.
Because
The Farm Act.
it doesn't do very much good in the summertime when we're moving watermelons, I can tell you.
Well, you have the right to farm act to fall back on, as an existing multi-generational farm, when the folks move in next to you, that act is what helps them cease the complaining about your smells and your operations and your backing up noises and things because you're a multi-generational farm. We tell folks all the
It's not
time.
gonna keep them from complaining.
No, it's not gonna keep it on. You,
The city gets a lot of those calls, I'm sure.
we do. We get a lot of those.
Sure.
Are you asking that you would like it to be reiterated in the
I would,
exception I recall?
I really would. I mean, we have all these
That's reasonable.
stipulations for residential, but I hear one thing, act. We need something
fair
else to
statement.
cover our farmers. We don't have a lot left,
Is there
but we
anything,
have some
is there anything against us?
Some really
putting
good.
A reiteration of the Farm Act into the exceptions, saying that if it doesn't violate the current Farm Act?
I think when we bring the agriculture zoning district back to you all, we could look at, we could look at putting something like that in there. That's why ag is not considered a residential zoning district for those exact reasons. Is that we have, especially in Newberry, we have many multi-generational farms that we don't want going out of business because of the complaining that happens.
There's a lot.
Complaints, and so.
That's unfair to a lot of people too.
To shut it. I answered the phone.
I was gonna say.
I get it, man. I
Our
get it.
mission on being an ag tech.
And I do really understand that I understand that when you work here, maybe you didn't know there was a 400-acre
Right.
watermelon operation
Not
going.
sure how you missed that, but
It's
sure.
okay, I didn't know I was next to a mine
Yeah.
either.
Yeah.
That's the state.
That is true. That is true. I
Yeah,
didn't-
saying like,
I didn't-
we could put a requirement in that they have to notify that you are next to ag property and
Yeah,
the
something.
Farm Act applies to those
Something that
those
would
protections
cover
for
the-
those homes.
I don't know. It's
I
a,
think
it's
the
a,
appropriate place would be when we bring back
Yes.
the ag zoning district to you, because we are going to be as you know, part of our land development code,
Right.
we're going to be bringing back the zoning sections and the divisions to you. And so it would probably be something to think about for that.
will you remind me?
I will
Yes.
remind you.
I will remind you.
I'll put it in my phone.
I think
I
that's a
couldn't
valid.
find my packet tonight on my phone, so.
I will remind you.
We need to protect all our.
Yes, we really do. We do get a lot of complaints. It's unbelievable.
I have a question. Can we put in something about fencing around the property? Because if you've got dogs and like I'm all about letting them run, but you don't want them to just run.
Yeah.
Mine's one of those special ones that will take off and then what?
Sure, we can definitely augment some of maybe the next one that Mayor Martin was getting ready to talk about, a minimum of a 25-foot landscape buffer shall be provided between the facility and adjacent properties. We can maybe add maybe a E and move everything down and maybe put something, opaque fencing is required.
Something that, the dogs can't see.
I would assume on the
Legally.
insurance side, they would have extreme liability.
I would hope so.
And that they
Um,
wouldn't already be.
Listen,
I'm just saying, commercial insurance wise, they would be held extremely liable without fencing to.
people try to pull some crap though.
I mean, like some of those bulls get through too. I mean, they have good fences.
True.
Depends on how,
If you look at the
excited they
forum,
are.
you think everybody's dog was out all the time.
Oh, I know.
That's true.
Gosh, I live in don't live in
Now
there.
we're just dealing with the
Do
chronic.
people ever keep their
problem.
animals at home? There's always a dog somewhere.
You give us a definition of what you mean by landscape buffering. Landscape buffering could be a very broad statement. So does that mean tree lines? Does that just mean bushes? Does that just mean sod? They could be like, hey, I sodded 25 feet. That's landscape.
Right.
Are we talking about, we want,
It's not specific here, but we are hoping that the buffer word means that you are putting something in between you and the adjacent properties.
so yeah, no
You could
offense, but the word
expand on
hope on anything doesn't, I don't,
What is the buffer that we currently have?
that's what I'm trying to figure out. Is like, what's
What we do in the CRA plan? Everything that's on, all of the new developments that we had, they all have 25-foot buffers that they.
Oh, and the overlay.
Overlay, thank you for the word. I was trying to think of overlay.
yeah.
We get the,
Yeah, we can definitely shore that definition up.
You know what I mean?
You don't
Because
wanna
I
do
feel
that.
like landscape could be a very broad statement.
They want it open.
Highway.
isn't there a specification of what type of items we have in the overlay? We-
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying, like
We
what,
use those definitions of
Yes.
what's appropriate
Yes.
buffers. That's what I was trying to say. Not the exact same thing. No. I don't want to put that type of, I believe
Overlay
anybody in
it.
ag land should have free to use what they want.
Overlay its density, frequency, height.
Yes,
There's about,
we can,
4 or 5.
I can draft something, that pulls from that.
okay. The time frame 7 to 9.
Yes, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m.
So that goes back to member Carey's point is how do we know that somebody using the facility has a dog that's not, feeling well, needs to be out cared for? And it's 9:05.
10:30 or
It's not, code enforcement's not gonna sit out there. We're gonna, get a complaint or a code enforcement, complaint about it. My guess is when they let them out in the evening, I would guess you would put one out at a time, so they're not barking, but then again, there's deer and everything else out there, so.
Right.
you
Dog
could
will be
live on
dog.
a residence and have one dog out and see.
Well,
the
you could
deer
have
bark.
yeah, well,
So-
exactly, you could have one at your home barking more than,
Correct.
I don't know, it's,
Right.
but we could.
So the code enforcement stuff is gonna be complaint driven, to begin with. So if you're okay with the 7 to 9, then like a lot of stuff, it's gonna be dealt with at the time.
I don't think it
It would have to
matters,
come,
but we
it would come back to us and.
Gonna say 10 o'clock. Noise ordinance is 9, that's why I'm pretty sure it's in there. So we could say 10 if that's
I
what.
thought we followed it at 10 o'clock.
I mean, if my dog had to wait from 9 at night, so.
If my dog had to wait
Seven
till
is-
7 in the morning to go to the bathroom, he would
That's what I'm.
eat through the,
Reminds me of.
We'll just double. So
my dog wakes up at 5.
the noise ordinance is 9.
Understand the night noise ordinance, but this reads like they could not operate during those.
Right.
Right.
And most kennels are 24/7 operations. I think that is unreasonable.
So when they saying outdoor areas, maybe the route that we need to go on the outdoor areas is
Play.
recreational use of
Play.
outdoor areas. Because Pet Paradise has something similar that is time
Yeah.
versus they need to just go out to use the restroom, they do their thing and they come back in.
I think we should put potty in there.
Unless otherwise.
Okay.
Yeah, within reasonable.
Because if you say use of outdoor areas, the minute someone sees a dog, they're gonna call code enforcement.
And I'm not saying like letting out a pack of like an animal for the bathroom.
But you're right, somebody will
But
complain.
like if you have if you.
Oh, yeah.
Dog was elderly, he was peeing every house, like.
It's to 9:15.
We'll take those
out.
calls.
You don't want those calls, yeah.
All right, so we'll leave the
Let's
noise
let
ordinance
dogs go to the
hours,
bathroom.
noise ordinance hours and,
Just define
I'll
outdoor
work on the
areas.
words on defining of the outdoor areas. F we were removing because, I don't think Greta's gonna go out and start checking manifests on how many days someone's been there. It's very-
See check-in dates.
I know, that's right.
I hate to circle
Is
back,
that fine?
yeah,
Yeah, that's totally fine.
I hate to circle
Strike.
back.
Strike F. So let's not,
To do it.
if you hate to do it, let's not do it.
Go ahead, Naeem. Don't listen to him now.
You're striking F, right? You said?
Don't fall under the pressure.
So structure housing, the dogs and domestic animals, except for horses.
B.
B, the structured houses, I'm taking that there is some sort of code within the code of like what's considered animal abuse at some point, because right now we have a freeze and everybody's taking their dogs inside, but we live in Florida where excessive heat of 100+ degrees happens constantly. And if a dog is inside an unventilated, air-conditioned area, that poses a huge issue for me.
Well, did not think.
So that's what I'm asking, is there a code within the code
Well,
of,
yeah, I mean,
when
there's
it comes
a
to these
building
things?
code that
Okay.
requires, ventilation. I don't know that animals rise at the same level as humans in that ventilation scenario, but.
that's where I'm coming from is I am vouching for the fact, I'm not PETA over here, but I am vouching for the fact that I want to make sure that if this code, if what we say have to be.
Don't mean to jump in, but this sounds more
Yeah,
like
don't jump
building code.
That's what I'm trying to
related
see. Is this
and
something that's in a code?
Ordinance
within a code
related.
Versus
Is
ordinance.
that fair?
Yeah, that's a building code thing. I wouldn't.
Okay.
I mean, just the fact that it's enclosed and designated to suppress noise
Right.
and
That's great. Suppressing noise all day. I'm all for it.
then G,
But suppressing noise inside a 10-foot by 10-foot cell
yeah.
and it's in a metal box. It's like, that's torture. So that's where I'm saying, like, is there a code in a building code that,
I don't know
Yeah.
the exact building
Okay.
code, but I am guessing there is some kind of building code. If you are building a building for kennels requires specific rules and regulations as far as the Florida Building Code goes.
thank you, sorry.
Welcome. No, that's okay.
All
I
right,
hate to go on
You
to
can
G.
continue.
I hate to go on to G,
go
but
ahead and
let's
continue.
go on to G. Veterinary clinics that do not provide overnight boarding. Was staff, was there?
We're just changing for this.
4 to 5.
5 acre lot size, and we were gonna wordsmith that and add it up at the top.
Okay.
With the minimum lot area shall be both moving 4 to 5 acres.
Exceptions and exceptions.
So,
Going real quick, going back up, this is the one is on an arterial highway. Are you interested in looking at rules and regulations as it relates to off arterial highways in more of the rural areas of, okay, so that would be our number 2.
so, while we got, some of us got an email about an example of one that's not on an arterial. We're not entertaining whether that one's okay or not okay right now. All we're doing is trying to potentially mirror 1 and 2 together to fit. So I would suggest we just use number 1 as a guide.
Yes,
And how would these necessarily apply to non-arterial?
right.
Just to kind of keep it. Oh, you said fair enough?
Mhm.
Want to do that? Okay, so number 1 would be everything the same except changing essentially arterial to non-arterial.
Right.
Okay. And then A would be minimum lot size, currently 5 acres.
Yes, we're gonna need each spot.
Out of 5.
Yes. Number 2. That's
I know
our,
some of you are here to speak to that. We'll get
Yep.
you. Don't worry about that.
and that is that's what brings us into compliance with the comprehensive plan.
Okay.
That's I think.
So B are the structures housing the dogs or domesticated animals, which are probably no real issue with that one either, right?
I don't see an issue with that one.
Okay. C would be structure zoning, so there's some distance requirements there
Mhm.
to potentially entertain. Do you want them, should they be further away? Should they be closer? I guess we probably don't want them any closer than
No, and I
the
think,
arterial, right?
right, and I think a board member Carrie
Yeah,
mentioned earlier, because we're making it a 5 acre minimum,
right.
it,
What's the minimum for, I know there's only one house permitted on a 5 acre parcel, but what's the minimum distance from the wall of the house, any wall, to a property line?
25 feet.
Okay,
Setback,
so they can be closer than a kennel.
yes. A home can. So can your pole barns?
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate. Someone can have their TV or music louder than dogs barking. Than 100, than 200 feet. So I would argue that we could do less. 4 times the minimum of a house seems reasonable. I would move for consideration of even 100 feet.
Not following your train of thought.
So if a house with human noises, whatever size, can be 25 feet from property line, why are we putting the undue hardship of 8 times that onto a housing structure, whatever, walking area for, that limits that 5 acre parcel, because where's their house? They're gonna want some, some point, there's a lot of assumptions depending on people's properties, how they're shaped.
Sure.
I'm trying to think of like, how is it be easier to do business? The whole purpose of why we're all here is so that people can get the enjoyment and the pursuit of happiness and the American dream with their properties. I think that's an unfair hardship when someone can, like, if I bought a piece of property and someone bought next to me, there was never a house there, and then they can build a house 25 feet off my property line, that prevents me from my enjoyment as well. I don't have any say in that, right?
I'm still not following you.
I
Sorry.
can, what she's
I don't know
saying,
if it's in the qualifying statement or the
I
broader statement.
think, she's saying houses, people can live closer than the dog kennel can. And people. can
25
be-
feet for a house.
Right.
Yeah, humans can be just as louder, if not louder.
Okay.
I want to just check the ag setback. Hold on one second. I want
I
to
think that's a fair statement. If it's further away, then I'm open to that, but I'm just saying like, no, I can say there's probably been exceptions to that from what I understand, but yeah.
Yeah, that was my whole thing too. It irritates me. What to do.
I'm sorry, I keep on putting you going down the rabbit hole, Stacy, with my questions, but
Yeah, 25 feet. Okay, sorry. I just want to double check before I said it.
I'm just putting an example there. I'm not saying that that's like a must have, like for me to ever consider it. I'm just saying like, let's be fair. If we're making them have more land and if I want to go build a house, I can do it,
25 feet off the property line, yes. Okay, so keep it at the 50 or.
There's already have to have a
5.
I'm assuming right now, 25-foot buffer.
Mhm.
And within that 25-foot buffer,
Past the 25 foot.
200 feet for
50 feet.
50 feet for any property line for.
Ag and ag, which is most of these are surrounded by ag.
I understand.
Not gonna meet the 200 feet.
We're expanding a lot right now. So I'm trying to think of worst case scenarios.
Correct, we
So
are.
whenever I think, Stacy, I think of what is the absolute worst case scenario? So let's assume 3 sides are ag and the one side that they want to build the kennel is residential.
It's 200 feet, that's correct.
And we're putting an undue hardship. So I'm saying like, maybe if they can build a house that close, and I'm assuming residential, they can even build it closer. I think it's 10 feet, right?
It depends, yes. The smaller RSF ones, yeah.
I'm just saying that maybe that part of C needs to be reevaluated for this second part of the non-arterial. That's just my observation.
Anybody else have any comment about that?
I think that needs to be revisited as well.
You think it should be allowed to be closer to
Yes.
residential?
Humans make more noise normally than,
I mean, if it was all basset hounds, I can understand.
yeah.
But or pack of chihuahuas.
I live in sort of construction and I'd tell you, I'd rather have animals any day.
Yeah, I probably
day.
would.
Okay, so then on D, I'm already going to be, revising and clarifying that landscape buffer per your request on the number 1. Do we want to make it, keep that the same?
Definitely think there needs to be a buffer.
Are you okay with natural trees? What are you envisioning the buffer? I can take a look at what we're already allowing in some of our overlay requirements.
Larger bushes or trees to help with both visual and sound.
Cedar trees are amazing like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, cedar trees are great.
Closer.
Bushes or boxes,
Mhm.
whatever.
And why are we not like better rationale?
And our property,
Cedar trees are amazing.
Yeah.
they just cut down a whole bunch
I
of
agree.
stuff, but.
Gary, or Jessica,
Yes, sir.
you didn't say anything in C on the arterial for being closer to the property line, but you're bringing up an issue for non-arterial.
I'm seeing for the worst case scenario, if there is a residential property on one of those 4, I'm assuming it's a 4-side property, might be 17 side, I don't know.
I'm looking for a consistency.
No,
I
he's
guess.
asking going back to 1.
Going back to 1.
Why is it different arterial than off arterial?
Why are you making it on this one and not the other one?
Why do you hate the non-arterial?
I don't think it should be that far away in either case.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that was my.
But I was not allowed to make changes to the additional one, like it's already existing and that's.
No, we were.
We're here, we made
Yes, I don't think it should be that. I think that's putting undue hardship on. When I see things on the major roadways, the road noise is probably louder than the dogs barking in most cases. at least living where I live. I could hear the sound or even the train at 2.
We want, okay, noted. E, the use of outdoor areas, still 7 to 9. Keep it consistent.
They were trying to.
Um,
I
And
think it's a good idea.
F, we're probably not
If
contemplating
we're not
F.
Contemplating F.
And G with the vet clinics.
Yes.
The only thing I would ask for on E is, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to, no, go ahead.
Keep it the same.
So my question is, if we're making this exactly the same as one,
What's the point?
Yeah. At this point now,
there doesn't need to be two, like this would be for arterial and non-arterial.
You would
Well,
just change the title.
The commission may be changed
right.
also. So we're
Yeah,
kind of,
these are
we're kind of put everything in the bucket and let them take out of the bucket.
Yeah, thank you.
The other piece is, if you go back to the slide, I had said, maybe in the, and this is going kind of against what some of you are saying, is I was thinking if we were doing this off the non-arterials, that you would limit the number of animals that were gonna be located at those, my bullet point there, if we're creating number 2, would we be setting the number of animals to be boarded? While that's hard to enforce, it's a little easier.
We do,
Based on the level of intensity, would you do that in the ag areas versus?
I would do that in the arterial over the ag.
Okay.
Aren't they closer to residences on the arterial road?
I think the expectation is less peace and quiet on an
Yeah.
arterial road.
And more traffic on an arterial because they don't have a limitation. You could do a pet parrot. We wouldn't want a pet paradise in the rural area. So we were trying to take a pet paradise and put it potentially in the ag areas, but not that dense and not that intense. Because they have the ability to be off that arterial highway, they're paid parking, the whole 9 yards, they can handle the trips. So if we wanted to do something in smaller in the ag areas,
On that train of thought, do you think the 5 acres is a bare minimum for non-arterial?
so that's what I was saying. If
Should it be
it's not
10?
arterial, should be 10 acres or above, but could meet all the parameters of 1 because you're in a larger acreage than you were if you were on the minimum 5 in the.
I think a 10-acre minimum does help mitigate noise complaints because they would be theoretically further away. I think you mitigate complaints by making it further from the property lines as well.
That's what I'm saying theoretically, but.
Yes,
if you can
people,
go-
yes, people can be louder than animals, but I don't know, in my head, feels like there's like a controllable
Yeah.
element.
I would argue against that right now, respectively, Chair, because we live in a residential area and our neighborhood's been terrorized by people with gunshots every night practically. At 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. And
Hey, you got drive-by shooting? Oh, what's going on?
so like
Agricultural land behind.
ag land behind us and we
All over the country.
They're shooting in the outlets, guns to keep the crows away.
No, no.
no, it's not ag
No,
related.
it's all night.
Rapid fire, there's, it's all the time.
Like a grenade launcher at one point.
Yeah, there's big boom.
Their arms going for 3 hours at a time.
That's why I'm saying
Shooting the-
purposes of trying to make things fair.
Yeah.
Called.
If we're held at a.
Living in Countryway.
Why am I not getting involved? Like, why- no one's gonna call me and invite me to go shooting?
Called the sheriff's office as well.
All right.
We.
So we're
I'm only bringing that up just speaking.
were we going to potentially recommend 10 or leave it at 5?
To leave to 5.
1 for 5. Anybody else, Kathy?
I think 5 is good. I think the noise is gonna be there. It's gonna be there on 2 or 10.
Lauren?
We're dealing with it.
Well, and the other thing we're dealing with here, going back to the commercial kennels, the veterinary clinic and the animal shelter, because we have to change the words. This is not someone's hunting animals. We're not contemplating that at all. I want everyone to make sure that's very clear. There is no restrictions.
Lauren, were you
Yeah, let's.
more on 5 or 10?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Dan,
All right, sorry.
that's okay.
I know a
That's
more.
why I-
Sorry. I got
Um,
you.
I think 5. I think that 10 is just a little bit too much.
Alina?
I think there should be some different rules, maybe if it is 10 and above versus just the 5. Because that does give you more space. I don't know if I agree with the 25 feet. I know that the buffer is necessary.
Mhm.
And then depending on the buffer, like, I don't know what impact it's gonna have if your dog kennel is right on the line of your buffer.
And we can tell the commission there was discussion about this item and this
Yes.
item. That's
We
not.
can, we can bring it to them and say,
So you're,
going back and forth between 5 and 10.
I mean, when I
You're-
buy out an ag,
we're 25,
I expect ag, right?
so
Right.
your 20, but your 25-foot was you don't have an issue with the buffer, you just have the issue with the setback?
I definitely agree that the buffer is necessary and should stay.
So was your 25 more, when you were saying you're not sure it should be 25, have to do
Or more, right?
with how far
How far off
from the property
the
line? Okay,
property line.
all right, that'll be noted. Naeem? 5, 10, 25, 50? I sound like an auctioneer. Sorry.
15 and 20.
I mean, let's go for 100 on that one.
Ready for April there?
No, seriously, we 10? Okay. So that's a mix. That's a mix. Okay. Did we
The good thing is that we give this.
currently address some of your other stuff?
Yeah,
Or number?
Yes,
Number
we
of
have
animals.
to make.
I'm guessing a pet paradise probably
Like
has,
100 per acre?
I don't know, 30, 40 animals at a time. I didn't.
There's standard
anticipate these
for, like,
things.
for, there has to be a standard for shelters and all that.
There's like that's a building code thing. How
Yes,
many animals
so-
can be housed humanely?
Alachua County has that, so that's what I can show you here.
I was gonna ask that. For the standard practice for that, that would,
I mean,
There's the dog.
This is Alachua City.
I was gonna say, didn't they just change it to move it closer to you? So they
Yeah,
abuse the animals?
yes.
You can grab it, and move it.
Well, I've lived here my whole life and I've never complained about an animal, but people have made a lot.
Except for the armadillo in my backyard
A
right now.
lot. Yeah,
That guy can
armadillos are
go
good for the
somewhere.
environment.
Found a 15-year-old this morning. He was hungry.
bring me your armadillos and
Come catch that sucker.
So we have,
So you're commenting on the number of animals.
yes, the number of animals. And so in Alachua County's code, which are I looked at Alachua County and City of Alachua, and they have no rural kennel, which is what we're talking about really when we're creating number 2, shall accommodate more than 50 dogs at any one time. That to me seemed like a
That's a
lot,
lot of dogs.
but that was
Is there any land stipulation on the size of the land for it?
Yeah, well,
5 acres.
And that's not hunting,
No.
that's like a
making sure.
retreat or a.
That's a lot. I mean, like,
50 Chihuahuas is different than 50 Great Danes.
yeah.
I will say,
That's still a lot of dogs.
so the Alachua County Animal Control Code I know for residential is a maximum of 10 dogs per resident.
Does it say?
So,
Resident, so like if we.
so like you can have 10 in your house.
1,500 square.
And on our
feet, so
property
you can
total.
have 10.
Okay.
We're not saying it's smart. We're just saying it's.
10
I
dogs or 10 cats, so 10 of one.
that I think the county, that seems like a reasonable amount, depending on.
50?
50? That's
I
insane.
can tell you, I had 14 chihuahuas in my one house when I was breeding.
Well,
Like,
we
that's a
have
little
a-
different.
We
Like,
have a lot of hunting dogs in the area
No,
too.
you said that you think pet
Not normal.
paradise is like 30 at a time?
Okay.
That seems a little.
100.
To see how many
50.
kennels that they have. You know,
Let me look right now.
so I mean, we
We don't have to answer the.
We don't have to answer the question. Are you interested in putting a limitation on the number of
Yes.
dogs in the rural kennel areas?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
also
I am
think
not.
that requires feedback.
No limit.
No limit.
So you can have 100
I
animals.
just have.
I want to hear all that.
Raise your hand if you,
More than-
raise your hand if you want a limit at all.
It's reasonable.
Then raise your hand.
Everybody.
Do you,
I'm the only one sitting here going, I can do what I want with my property. So, yeah, no interference whatsoever.
For one.
On some kind of a limit.
Hand out
I'm
the
just thinking
crap.
about the animal,
Oh,
thinking about the property part.
no feedback on what that limit should be,
Right. So that.
but apparently less than 50.
Landowner. Yes.
Okay.
And.
What else you got for us to discuss before we go to the audience?
Well, I left it open for,
I had a question on E. That's just for noise ordinance.
About,
Pardon me?
Number 2E is only for noise ordinance, or is that for operations? That was my only clear. I don't know if that, my previous note of clarification of operations.
the use of outdoor areas by the animals
Yes, are we,
shall occur no earlier than 7 and no later than 9.
that seems like operational.
That coincides with our noise ordinance.
And we put a notation as in accordance to the noise ordinance versus operations.
It says that in number, in B, the structures housing the dogs or other domesticated animals excepting horses and livestock which are listed separately shall be completely enclosed and designed to suppress noise. Noise from the boarded animals at the property line shall
I
be.
understand, but this is outdoor area that we're specifying,
I mean, yeah, we can just add the city's north, yes,
because otherwise it applies that
in accordance with
could
the.
be read as operational. Nice.
With the city's noise ordinance.
Some people work before 7 AM, so I'm just trying to think of for people who need facilities to drop off their pets before that. Dog out of the car and do that.
I want to go to the.
wait, I have a question for Stacy.
Okay.
Because as I'm looking up Alachua County codes and all this stuff, breeders and kennels fall under the same category.
Mhm. That's what I just showed you already.
Right. So,
We'll challenge it.
so there's like a proposed ordinance from Alachua County that hasn't gone through yet, but there's a proposed revision on
Animal
that.
sales, service and care is what
For
Alachua
20
County
dogs.
has. Oh, wait, sorry, that's Alachua.
Sorry, I didn't mean to throw, I was just like looking this up while you guys were.
That one.
4.40418 kennel, cattery and private animal shelter.
Females, for
Cats.
felines, it is cat.
It's a cat house. Feline,
Where the totals enough to only see.
Cat house is a different thing.
Right, so the 20.
oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to be improper.
Private animal.
I apologize. I realize I'm in the South. We don't have that when I came from.
20 animals facility may only be allowed as a special exception.
Minimum lot acre must be 5 acres.
Yes.
So that brings up a question on if,
Down it says 50 dog.
so it says no
rural
rural
kennel,
kennel shall
rural
accommodate
kennel.
more than 50. So Stacy, with this code, whatever we put in, if we're missing any kind of language, it will revert back to the county code. Is that correct?
No, we.
I just won't speak to it.
Left the county code.
Okay.
I was using this as an example to go to City of Alachua and Alachua County.
All right, let's go to the public. All those wishing to speak, please stand up to 360. Raise your right hand.
I gotta swear. I'm swearing, I'm swearing.
And then nobody can come up there and
Uh,
say their name.
Why don't we just move from my right to left? Debbie, did you want to speak?
Yeah, I do.
They have to come up here if they can pick them up on the mic.
I'd like Greg to go first, please.
Just state your name and,
Greg Graydon.
hold on, Greg, let me put timer on.
I'd actually asked to be considered a third party intervener, so it would not be timed. I believe I have a significant interest in this issue from the board.
This is just public comment, though.
I recognize that, sir.
Yeah, we're not, this isn't third-party intervener, quasi-judicial or anything like that. So it's just regular, public comment.
So I don't believe 3 minutes is sufficient.
Did I say that we're going to do 3 minutes?
So you're gonna put on the timer.
Did I say 3 minutes, though?
What is my time limit?
Okay.
Well.
Let's find out what time limit is before we jump to what it's gonna be. What's our general public comments, 2 minutes, right?
Okay.
Well, here's what you can do,
Yeah.
okay? Well, I'll give you, everybody 3 minutes. If you got other people that don't want to speak and you want to use their time, they can yield their time to you. Will that work?
Okay, get started. For your information, Pet Paradise currently has a capacity of 202. They had 125 before this board granted them another 77. You might want to go back and look at the May 4th, 2020 Planning and Zoning Board meeting. I did. There's a lot of good information there. A comprehensive plan, the definition of comprehensive, covering completely or broadly. A comprehensive plan should cover everybody, not just those who have an interest in housing one of these facilities, everybody who lives around one of those facilities. The May 4th, 2020 Planning and Zoning Board meeting, the then City Director of Planning and Economic Development was Brian Thomas. He sat there. Clay Swegger was EDA Consultants, was Pet Paradise's the applicant's expert. They made a huge deal out of the fact that there were no public complaints about noise. Let me ask you a hypothetical question. If a dog barks in the forest, no one there to file a public complaint, did the dog make noise? Of course he did. The fact that we're gonna, and I know we're not talking about a specific facility that's gonna remain unnamed, but the fact that there's been no public complaints about that specific unnamed facility doesn't mean there's been no noise. It just means there's been good neighbors living next door to it. So that whole meeting went through, and there's this huge promotion about the fact that there was no noise complaints. That was what was done with Mrs. Fleming's property there, and that was just sad. And the fact that you went on to they promoted the fact they were making a huge investment in their property, which would then translate into an increase in her property revenues, or it was a decrease. And this board sat silent, and then the city commission sat silent as the board of adjustment for that. That was shameful. Okay. One very important topic came up there, though, during the Board of Adjustment. That same expert, and I'm sure Pet Paradise has built a lot more of these than the city of Newberry has, a lot more of these than I've ever been involved with commercial kennels. You might want to think that their expert knows what he's talking about. Clay Swagger, and I will save you a whole bunch of time. You will want to go and look at timestamp 2 minutes or 2 hours, 18 minutes and 35 seconds on the tape. That's when he was responding to a particular city commissioner's question about why is a commercial kennel being approved in agricultural land? It's not agricultural related. And he said it's actually best used on land that abuts an arterial highway, which in this case would State Road 26 or US 2741 in Newberry. And his comment was, it can't be located back in more isolated or less impacted areas that aren't used to more traffic. You need the sound of the arterial highways to drown it out.
Sir, that's 10 seconds. What do you guys want to do? Want to let him continue?
I give him my time.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, you got it.
Has anybody ever hunted with a dog?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, there's a reason people hunt with dogs. They don't hunt with cows. I grew up on a dairy and a feedlot. Trust me, I've never used a cow to hunt with my
Well,
life.
usually you hunt the cow,
Right. No, you
different
don't.
way.
This board should do its due diligence. I'm sure the city staff will do its due diligence. It's at the direction of the city. Has anybody done any research as to how far a dog's bark travels? We're sitting here talking about a 50-foot offset, a 300-foot offset. It's not even close. I did a small little internet research. 1 to 2 mile travel distance for a dog's bark in open flat terrain, depending on atmospheric conditions. You get out into areas we have here in farmland and the rural parts of Newberry, open flat terrain is exactly what you're looking at. You're sitting here talking about, well, should we have a 25-foot offset, maybe 300? If anything, if we're going to make this a comprehensive plan to cover everybody in Newberry, including the people who will be living around these areas, you should be looking at increasing this offset.
What was your research you said of how far?
1 to 2 miles of dogs barking is audible.
But Google search just says 1,000 feet on areas.
In quiet areas, I doubt that's so.
I literally just Googled it. I'm just saying, I just Googled it for my board.
All right,
So 1,000 feet.
maybe we could have our next meeting on our porch. We're 850 feet away from a facility, and we usually have to go inside. So I believe our research a little bit more than that. There is no reason to follow through with item 2. This is already in the code of ordinances. 445, item 10 covers it. Complete. 445, item 10 says if you have a facility that's not on an arterial highway, you can always come to this board, request a special exception. It's exactly what you're already doing. I don't know what happened here tonight. 4.5, item 10 will allow this board to grant a special exception for a commercial kennel on a non-arterial highway. You come to this board and you then have to go through all the other things in Article 12 and Article 13, which I assume you're still going to have to answer that it doesn't change the living condition, it doesn't reduce the property values in the area and things like that. So, I guess with that, thank you for your time. You have a thankless job. I will thank you for it. What,
Another-
can I ask a question, what two authored your research, you said was 1,000?
I just went on Google right now and I asked, dogs barks, how far does that travel? And it said 300 to 500 feet is the common audible. Up to 1,000 feet can be heard in quiet areas.
Is there an author?
Google.
Okay,
Okay.
I did AI. I did AI and it's in rural settings, a dog bark can usually be heard a half a mile under normal conditions, up to a mile or more under ideal conditions. Then you have about 20 conditions that are listed that can affect the noise level of a bark.
So all I did was you came with a number and I was like, I gotta Google this because I have dogs and I'm like, how much do my dogs annoy my neighbors? I'm like,
A lot of.
My point is, if it was 50 or 300 feet, there'd be a lot more deer alive in the state of
It's
Florida.
trees and hills,
I appreciate the research.
humidity.
All right, well, there was another 30 seconds left on her time if she wants it. Ma'am, there was about 30 seconds left if you care to speak. You don't have to.
Yeah, but if I speak, that will take his time?
If,
No, you have
It's up his time.
all right.
30 seconds left in your.
Okay, how are you?
Good.
Good seeing you.
What's your name, ma'am?
My name is Nicole Leiser.
Nicole Iser?
Yes.
Eiser?
Leiser.
Leiser.
I am talking about the dogs. The dogs I live, they are my neighbors and they are there closer to the dog. The dog really, I live far away a little bit from that and I can hear all the way down. And it's just constantly, it's not like that. And they say it's small dog, it's hunting dog, but it's not. I can hear it, it's big bark all the way around and I live far away there. And we have the property next to them. And it is, you cannot stop a dog barking because the dog here, you can bring another dog in and that dog will bark another dog. Because they don't know those dogs. Have you guys ever been in society? Have you ever been? Can you stop a dog barking? So even if you put it off, 300 feet is not enough. It's not enough. That's my time is up.
Sorry.
But I really appreciate it. You consider that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Debbie, you ready?
Deborah Campbell.
There's not just one dog out there every day. There's many dogs out there. Has anybody been to the kennel?
And all you're speaking.
The one reason this is up here.
One of the things that,
Just for
one of the
one-
reasons why we do the ex parte is so we don't.
For that,
Yeah, I wasn't aware that we were talking about this particular.
I didn't know that.
We are, but anyway.
I'm not.
I'm not aware.
I just want that to go in the record. I'm not I didn't know we were.
So we were just talking about.
Specific business.
Code.
I don't want to be involved in that.
Yeah, so hold on a second. I just want to clarify something. So when Greg came up here, give me 1 second. Greg came up here, he came up here with some stats, some facts, and then he even said like, hey, if you ever want to listen on a porch, you can come out here. We have a neighbor that has dogs. I was not aware that there's a panel here that's under discussion.
Waiting for 4 years.
So like, I was gonna take you up in your offer and have some like tea on your porch. If you're like, let's listen to this wildlife. What's going on.
Sure.
So I didn't know it was an actual kennel. I thought it was just. So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
Yes, Miss Campbell, I'd stop the clock, so you're still good. You got 2.5 minutes still.
Well, just say there's not a kennel and there's ag and someone wants to build a kennel out there next to me. I don't want to hear dogs barking all day. I have 3 dogs. I don't want to hear 20 dogs, 50 dogs, 75 dogs. This winter, I thought they were hunting all winter long next to my property, but it's not. It's dogs that are there on the property. It's going to decrease the value of our homes. I don't mind cows. I don't mind skunks. I don't mind possums. I don't mind any of those little creatures. They don't make noise. Cows, I like the sound. Dogs barking is very annoying. Even my husband that sits in the house all day long. I hear the dogs barking. I hear the dogs. And I live far away. She's right next door. They're down the road. I live this way. When the wind carries, it's very, very annoying. Kennels need to be on a main road where people can come and go. This area, you have 5 acres. You're gonna have 5 acres of dogs running around. That's gonna be barking north, south, east, and west instead of a half acre or 10 acres or so. You gotta picture what's going on. You're gonna let them all out. They let them all out at once. We'll get to the other things, but the sound barriers, you need to put up sound barriers. There are no sound barriers. Tree lines are not sound barriers. Bamboo is not a sound barrier. Bamboo takes way too long to grow. And I'm just gonna give it up. I know what y'all are gonna do.
Ms. Campbell, can I ask you some questions?
Sure.
Can you tell me about how far away you live
How far
specifically?
away I live?
Oh, goodness, you're probably,
Okay.
60 acres. Well, Stacy's saying about 60 acres.
Here's how far I live. Here's the kennel.
3/8 of a mile.
Here's my house.
60 acres away.
Wide open.
Okay.
Here's Greg's house. Right there.
That's where,
Right there.
that's where that's where the footage of the traveling, because obviously no
No
barriers.
barrier.
What's that, open flat terrain?
No. It's
So-
kind of nice. I have a doctor gonna put up 5 homes out there. Is he really gonna wanna live?
No, but I have a question about, she said something and I had a question about it.
I also have a question. If you could pick a lot size that you think would be fair in order for that to be able to be a thing in a rural environment, is there a lot size that work?
No,
20 acres doesn't work?
no.
No.
I honestly,
You come out in the middle of the country and hang out with us.
I have lived in the country. I have a dog that loves to bark. Unfortunately, we are inside and it echoes through the house. So I am, well, she's a hound dog and she's vocal. So I got it.
It's big dog.
Yeah, she's a big dog.
Debbie nailed it. Put them behind a sound barrier, a concrete wall sound barrier. We put them on interchanges all the time.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
I have
okay,
a-
let's get to our,
I have a question on, this is a general question on what she brought up. So when you said bamboo doesn't grow fast enough or whatnot to block sounds, just out of curiosity here, what would be a sound barrier suggestion, other than obviously not having it?
I would say not having it.
I know, I said other than not having
Other
it,
than that,
but I'm trying to open up the dialogue of like, what,
right.
I don't think
like if there's any research that you got.
it's gonna make peace and quiet with a dog kennel out there. No, so there's not.
Yeah, so this is just a general question on, sound barriers on what, anything that,
Right, same with the
because
acre.
obviously
DOT.
your acre of emptiness is not a sound barrier and neither, that was one of the points that I was making when we were talking about the landscape buffers.
Right.
Grass could technically be a buffer and I'm like, well, that's obviously not gonna stop anything.
Right.
Cover the top.
With my career at FDOT, we put up sound walls, concrete sound walls.
For the top.
Well,
Sound.
That was a general, again, it was a general question. It wasn't towards any kind of kennel. It was just like, what, if anybody did any research on what kind of stops the sound of.
all right.
Thank
Any further public comment, sir? Ma'am? Flip a coin.
We can't both go separately?
Separately, but who
Yeah.
goes first?
First.
First, that's the thing.
Just state your name.
Graydon?
I'm sorry. Donna Graydon. Graydon.
Thank you for allowing me to speak, Board. And I will revise my notes to make it generalized and unnamed. So I wanted to speak regarding the potential rezoning of section 4.244 regarding commercial kennels. And as it applies to the upcoming potential applications that people have called and inquired about. So as you know, 4.241 refers to commercial kennels on an arterial highway within agricultural zoned areas. Where we all live, off of Northwest 32nd Avenue, it is not an arterial highway, but a dirt rut road coming off of Northwest 282nd Street, a lime rock road. Our hope is that you will not remove arterial highway from ordinance 4.241. The unnamed commercial kennel that we're trying to suppress the noise from, it has runs out the back of the kennel. An individual runs off of kennel rooms, allowing free flow of dogs from inside to outside. So that takes care of your humane issue. This allows the dogs to come and go as they want, thereby making noise via barking. This area is approximately 150 feet from our property line at the western border. Each of these runs out the back of the kennel, while currently covered partially with boards, are open at the top and have areas of wire on the sides, allowing noise to travel through the walls and over the top of the boards. Unless this has been recently changed, it's very clear on this particular kennel's website and on their Facebook page. The dogs also get to enjoy running out in an open field throughout the day, which is immediately adjacent to our property line to the west, where no sound barrier exists except an oak tree line with a tree canopy at approximately 20 to 50 feet high. Approximation, this is no formal tree height, has been measured by the forestry agents. Keep in mind, the last time I checked, the average size dogs are at most 30 inches tall. This doesn't even begin to be high enough for an oak tree canopy to suppress noise created by barking. Regarding your buffer.
A 30-second.
So as property owners, we would definitely like that clarity on the buffer. We're not interested in 25 feet of sod. There's a field fence encasing or enclosing this area where these dogs can run constantly and get exercise and be a dog, which we love dogs. We just don't love the noise that all of these dogs are creating in our agricultural area. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Sir. Come on.
Hello, I'm Steve Henry.
Henry.
Basically, the issues I can only piggyback with Greg. I live about a half mile down, a third house down, we'll put it that way. And I hear the dog barking on my porch and I come and go quite a bit. So yes, the dogs are annoying. You know, unfamiliar dogs with unfamiliar environment, they're going to bark. And a point of clarification, there's large animal, small animal. That's not small dog. In the veterinary world, cows, horses, hogs, and then there's animals. So these dogs aren't necessarily small. The bark tells me they're not. So yes, it's annoying, and I'm probably 2,500 feet away. Also own the house across my street, which is the second house, which has Nicole's family living there. And they really complain. Of course, they're closer. I can only imagine what Greg goes through because he's really close. And I sometimes think about that sitting on the couch. I'm like, that's got to be really annoying. Okay, so yes, the noise is an issue. Second, that little road is just a one lane sugar sand type road. There's a little bit of hardball, but it's, you know, trees hanging over, just what you'd imagine. It's also privately maintained. Once again, I got to put a plug in for Greg. It's his tractor that pushes around the sand. The way my little contribution is to drive up on the berm on the side to kind of push the sand back down. But that little road, I don't see I can handle that. By the way, if we think about it, if you drop off one dog, you've got to drive down the road, drop the dog, leave. Then you got to come back and get it. That's 4 trips for one dog. So we can do the math, 20 times 4 is 80. If there's just 20 dogs, by the way, that tends to be grouped over the weekend. You got Friday and then Sundays. That's when I drop my dog with the kennel. It's usually Friday-ish and picked up Sunday-ish. So you got this little blob of activity. Thirdly, I believe with the Florida Supreme Court did mandate, if you've got a nuisance around your property, you must notify the buyers. I think that's under Johnson versus something. For Nicole, if she wants to double check me on that, I can look that up in a little bit. Yeah, Johnson versus Davis, Supreme Court. We're supposed to notify a buyer, and I can see that souring a sale as I'm standing there going, look at all this. By the way, there's noise over there. It's intermittent. If it's intermittent, it affects your outside use, affects your sleep. You're supposed to notify them. And so technically, that speaks to you. If you've got farming and yeah, I'm going to drive a tractor when it needs driven. Anyway, that's all I really have. These issues are valid, they're real. So whether they get addressed or not, that's one thing. I'm only talking about this specific property though, of course.
30 seconds.
I actually have concluded. Say what you got to say it, and then sit down. Okay, I'm done. Any questions?
Is there any way any of us can make a statement? Or no, is that not acceptable?
Yeah, actually, we're at the end of the meeting in just a second, so you got comments?
I do.
Just a second. All great information and feedback for us to consider and pass along to the commission for sure.
So Stacy, I have something to say regarding it being a privately owned road
Mhm.
and then the excess traffic. I don't know if we can even limit that when it comes to a business being there, but I know at a privately owned road, it's up to the people living on that road to maintain it, and they either have to pay, if they want it paved, they all have to pay or go in together or whatever it is. So if there's wear and tear excessively on a privately owned road, because there is a business there, that doesn't seem,
How is a business allowed to use a privately owned road?
well, if they're using their
Property.
property that's on a privately owned road to
An
run a business,
Do they have an easement? What is it? Like if it's a privately owned road, it doesn't belong to the business, right?
belongs to the property owner.
Belongs to the property owner on that road.
But they're putting excessive traffic
Right.
on that road by having a business there that has extra traffic driving on it. And those people aren't paying any wear and tear on that road.
It's only a 1-lane road.
And she doesn't have,
Right, that's insane.
Yes.
That won't work.
So just to reiterate, this is an existing code that's on there now. You're coming to us for revisions. One thing that I think that I want to make sure that I'm on the record is that buffer is,
Buffer.
yeah. Like,
and maybe consider shorter bushes and some taller trees so that they hit the different heights.
I add a clarification to that. There was a correction for bamboo. Bamboo actually grows 1.5 inches per hour for the average bamboo, or up to 47 inches in a single day. So that would be an
Depends on
improvement
what
because
bamboo they have planted because
I understand that's an invasive plant, but
they're already.
it's our time to speak. I am literally just making a clarification because that was an improper statement. It is a very fast growing plant. It's very invasive. It's actually not a great thing to put in your neighbors if you're like in a residential area, because it can invade other people's properties. So we're looking, I'm just saying daily growth.
Growth. Say like not
Anything else? Anything else on this agenda item then?
My other question was, or if I remember correctly, what board member Naeem said was, if we're residential or an ag land, we can have up to 10 dogs.
I was just reading up.
Any resident.
Any resident within the county, 10 dogs at any time.
Animal control, Alachua County Animal Control, right? Is that what
We
you're
could
doing?
have 5 houses and each house could have
So
20.
yeah, it says by law, basically, like if you live in an HOA community, you find out that like somebody has 10, 12 dogs, you can call animal control.
Is there
But they
any
can have
limitation
10.
on how many animals an ag property can have? Right, so like you can have 400 cattle on there. Or
Yeah.
Pigs, whatever, right? Yeah,
do a special exception in our code, but yeah, in other places you can.
I think that's important to note that we should not be making any exceptions that would violate what the standard enjoyment is for any resident. Because I do agree with her comments that we should be able to enjoy our property as well. As long as we're following within the noise ordinances, because I did make a complaint about the noise ordinance. I do believe in enjoyment of our property.
I do too.
Where we at. And then I also want to make a clarification to the gentleman who just spoke regarding disclosure. I can tell you right now, unless you are specifically to the mining, which is more than habitual here. I bought within 4 years ago, and I was the third owner for this house from actually the builder's daughter. And there was no disclosure. They knew full well. And I had no recourse because it's buyer beware state.
Yep.
So just because that law exists does not mean the sellers won't have to worry about any recourse because there is none as a buyer. State of Florida, at least currently as of 4 years ago.
Quality of your real estate attorney.
No, that's the quality of multiple attorneys, sir. I spent a lot of money, trust me.
We could talk about
Yeah.
Okay.
that. The courts usually likes to be enforced.
Okay, so topics for members for discussion. Ms. Carrie, you want to go first? You got anything to?
I have some good stuff. The Newberry Historical Association has started our oral histories recordings. We actually started last month with the help of our wonderful mayor that we are doing the interviews. And so we're trying to collect those who have been here for generations, not only to tell personal stories, but also to record the amazing growth that our community has had over the generations, whether they've been here 5, 6. It's been really illuminating. We have a little Google sheet if you're interested. I'm doing all of the scheduling where we're going to have another day of recordings in the little school red house the afternoon of the 15th of February. If you're interested, please reach out to me personally or follow the previous posts. It is on our very historical webpage. And also we are going to be taking donations for a silent auction to be held at our event that our chair will be talking about in March 26th. So if you have any interest to donate to our worthy cause and are rebuilding and reigniting the light of the light plant, please reach out to us. We're looking forward to making it a very successful event. I'm very excited for what Newberry's Historical Association is trying to do to preserve the history and everything that's important about our very amazing agricultural community, mining community.
I hope that Kathy is on your.
I already, yes, right, the first thing I said to her when I said hello, yes, no.
She is on that list.
She knows that I told her I need an afternoon.
Started with the older people for.
Thank you for saying that.
She's too young to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
She's not in the first cut.
I
Yeah,
think most of the people that we met with were in late 80s and early 90s.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
need someone older than 25, Kathy.
yeah, you're too young, ma'am.
Younger.
My cousins first. Does anybody want to go ahead of me?
No, we want you to
Okay,
go.
I want to address everyone here, I think. I don't know if any of you know who I am or who my family is, my history. We've been on the same piece of property my granddaddy bought in the 30s. It's been over 100 years. My family still farms here. We're Hodge Farms. That land is, if I tell you it's everything to us, it's more than that. I've never lived anywhere else besides the 12 years we spent in the Army, and I was an Army wife. I have never had any other experiences besides here. I never thought I would live anywhere else. I never envisioned living anywhere else. I literally have said my whole life, the only place I'll move is to the cemetery. I won't leave here. I will go to the cemetery. When I die, I will move. Guess what we're doing now? We're selling our property because we have a huge development right next door to us that my cousin sold to a developer. Now I can tell you there's times on Facebook that I get a little salty about it because I'm emotionally tied to that property more than I probably should be. I probably need to speak to somebody about it. I don't know, but it is what it is. I cannot help it. I have Wawa going next door. I have fast food restaurants going next door. There's no berm. There's not even sod. Our tree line is gone. I see cars go, when I'm walking, that's all I see now. I'm not used to, it's not my vision of what I grew up with. Newberry was rural, where you live. When I was growing, we played there. There was no houses. When you left I-75 and you came to Newberry, there was nothing. So I've seen tremendous growth, tremendous growth. We went to school in the Little Red Schoolhouse. There was that few of us that we were in that building. And I'm saying all this to say that I don't want anyone to mistake where I'm at when I say that I do not think there should be any stipulations put on people's property as far as selling or building. I don't like it. I don't like it. I wish my cousin wouldn't have sold to a huge developer. I wish there wasn't a Publix across the street. I don't want to go to Publix. I would go to Gainesville if I went. That's me personally. But I know that I'm not what what I want is not in the big picture here. I no longer live in a rural community. Highway 26 is no longer rural. It is gone. It's gone. So the life I've envisioned is not here, but I can tell you, as much sleep as I've lost over it, and as many times as I've cried on the way home, and I have done it many times, I still feel like it's such a right in this country to do what you want to do with your property. And I could complain that there's a house next to me. I don't want a house living next. I don't want a house built next to me. But who's to say that, I mean, who's to say that I'm right and they're wrong? I don't want the big development, but there's 1,000 people who do. My wants and needs they don't cancel somebody else's wants and needs. So I have to look at this, I have to look at this whole thing and think, okay, this, as bad as it sounds, it's not about me. It's about this community developing, and like it or not, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. We are developing. And I hope to the good Lord above, I hope that we do it smartly, which I think we are doing. I think we're doing the best that we can. I think the commission is doing the best that they can. Of course, there's issues that some of us don't like, some of us do like. That's human nature. But I feel like the city of Newberry is trying to do their best. And although I don't like some of it, I don't like looking out my door and seeing streetlights. I've never in my life grown up and lived where there was a street. I can hear police cars in my bedroom going down the highway now. I hear motorcycles. I hear music. And the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, okay, you know what? My whole thing is I can sell this and move somewhere else where it's like I want it. Get a big enough piece of property where I can be in the middle. And if there's a kennel going around me or a Publix, maybe I won't be affected, but it's so, you never know what's coming. You just don't know what the landowners are doing, and you cannot, I don't believe you should ever try to make someone else do with their property what they want to do. Just because you don't agree with it doesn't mean someone else can't do. I mean, there's people, I don't know. It's just, it's a mess to me. It is a mess, but I don't want any of you to ever think, where does she stand with this? Because I don't like it. But I also know it's everybody's right to do it. And I think we're doing a smart job of it, mostly, not everything, but I'd say 99% of the time I agree. And I hope we can continue. And I hear every one of you, everything you're saying about the noise. I live it. I live it. But there's nothing I can do about that. It's gone. My way of life is gone. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to find another way that I can get through this. But there's nothing I can do. The property that I grew up on, that my granddaddy built the house on, is gone. It goes right in the middle of the highway. It's gone. They took it. We didn't have a choice. Now we have a 3-acre retention pond on our property. All compliments of DOT. We didn't have a choice. That's where they wanted it. And now I'm losing the last bit that I have. I understand how frustrating it is. I understand. I feel it in my soul. I do. So don't ever think that I don't hear what you're saying, or I'm just sitting up here going, oh yeah, whatever. I fight it all the time to do what's right. And what's good and also to, live through this. It's hard. It's very hard. I've never known another life. And my whole life has changed. Everything. I mean, everybody's going to enjoy their Wawa. I didn't even know what a Wawa was. So, I mean, put it in perspective. Sometimes we have to just step back and think this is progress. And we can't stop it. So it is what it is. And the city of Newberry is doing I think, a great job in planning and trying to move forward on all these things that we talked about tonight. And I know it's like it seems like it doesn't matter, but it does. And they're trying their hardest to get everything in order. It's a monumental task. It's monumental. And I really appreciate the city doing what they do. And I'm going to say again, I don't like the growth, but I support it. And I support it because I love the city and we're going to do what we're going to do and we might as well make the best out of it and try to make it the best it can be.
Thanks, Kathy. Anything else?
Appreciate you, Ms. Gavin.
Come on.
Who follows that? That's rude. That's rude.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Sorry.
I agree with
I
what you
didn't
said.
cry.
You did an
I
amazing
didn't
job.
cry.
And
Amazing.
honestly, you voiced something that that's how I feel about it too. Like I moved out here because I wanted a smaller life and I do like the fact that there's Publix there because I'm
Yeah,
a busy
that's
person.
Sweet, yeah.
But,
My daughter does too. I know, but she does.
You like that
I
puppy?
respect
yeah,
her.
no, it's hard to see all the changes, but I do agree with you that the city is doing their very best to handle that. So sorry. Thank you for being here. And I wanted to thank everybody for coming out.
I
and
appreciate it
talking
too.
tonight. Hearing what you guys have to say about it helps us process. So thank you for that. On a different vein,
Lacrosse.
Newberry Boys High School varsity lacrosse team is seeking out a sponsor. So if you have a business that you would like to have a sign on the field, please let me know. I'd be glad to shout the praises of your business from the booth this year. This is my last year.
And if you guys don't watch us on a regular basis, he does this every
single
time.
time. We love
So that's why it's kind of
I don't even have a kid on the team anymore. Let's just put it that way.
like as because
it's why it's highly entertaining.
I don't have a kid in the school anymore and I'll do it too.
But you're at the school.
Yeah, that's true.
At the school. Well,
I'm
you're
that's all.
appreciated. Good job.
Still there.
I have a couple of things. So the Newberry Main Street organization is having their barbecue and blues fest this Saturday from 10 to 4 in downtown. We'll be down near Seaboard. We have like over 14 teams signed up for the competition. It's the biggest one yet. It's one of our biggest festivals. It's a lot of fun. I highly encourage everyone to come down, check it out, walk through the vendors, come meet some of your community members.
It'd be
It's
great.
beautiful. It will be that too. I'm so excited. I don't check until we're way closer because it changes too much on me. So I don't like to get excited and then disappointed. So
Gosh.
same with weddings, you know. Gosh. Yep, there is the classic car show. That's also a big piece that comes. So like if you like old classic cars, there's so many. I mean, I can't even like there's just so many cool cars to look at. So it's just a really great event. So I'm super excited to be doing that this weekend. Also, the Newberry Historical Association is having a benefit on March 26th. We are doing a Reignite the Light. So it is for our historic light plant that we have in town. And we are trying to raise funds to help renovate and push that building forward to become something it can be useful again and be a part of our community and functioning in some way so that it does not get lost. We've lost some cool buildings and we want to make sure that this is not one of them. So we are looking for sponsors. We have everything from buying an individual plate to our big sponsors all the way up at the top. So we welcome anyone to come. We'd love if you bought a plate or a table or found some way to help support our mission and what we're trying to do with that building. We're doing a lot of stuff with the Historical Association, but that is our big focus right now, besides the oral histories and all.
Send me
March 26th.
Send me something for the spot.
Ahead of time.
Yes.
Yes.
Evite.
Yes, there's an Eventbrite link. So if you have Facebook, check out our Facebook page. If not, please just reach out to one of our members.
Postcard somewhere. Do you have any
I-
more of those?
That has not been released to me yet, so.
Crystal said she was gonna get some out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what, okay.
We are working with the city, so there are some pieces.
Leaving it out by the building department?
Yes,
We get
please.
A lot of traffic and same with customer service.
That would be, yes, please. Yes, and spread the word. We'd love to see you guys. Plus you get to walk around and check the building out, which
And
is,
it's only gonna be 70 degrees.
that's March 26th.
Yeah.
Well, it was warmer Saturday.
Barbecue Fest is,
70 this weekend. So
That's what,
that's Saturday.
that's what I'm talking about.
Both involved.
I was like,
You're ahead of me.
I did a minute.
Two organizations, one after the other. It gets confusing for me.
Already
too.
planned on being
This
outside.
is what happens when she took over for you. She absorbed a lot of.
Yes, yes.
Goodness, I'm not talking about any politics today.
Still, even though I gave it up, I'm still like,
Princess of Parades.
good grief.
Hey, yeah, where's my tiara?
I wasn't gonna call you out on that, Paula.
I have one you can have.
You just did it. All right, that was it for me.
All right, well, thank you guys for coming out. Appreciate that. Something that hits home is, quality of life. Not only do we, we don't want to impede on somebody's private property, but we also bought private property and hoping that that individual or, we have a good quality of life, that we are able to enjoy our homestead. So I'm a big advocate between the two, and I'm always trying to find a happy medium. A lot of people get mad at us because they think we rubber stamp everything. Well, unfortunately, that's not necessarily the case. We have LDRs in place, and if someone sells to a developer and they're following the LDR to the T, and I say, you know what? No, I don't want you here because I just don't like you. My attorney's gonna be like, it's a very bad idea because now they're gonna sue you and the city and they'll get what they want and get more money out of it. And puts us in a very difficult situation. So what we try to do is what we're doing here, have that conversation, find out some information, cross-examine each other in a sense of like, what's the best solution for everybody? And I think that's what Newberry does well. We, for the most part, can come to the table and talk. So for a few years, well, not a few years, but I've been on the planning and zoning board now for a little over 8 years.
Thank you for your service.
And Newberry has truly been a blessing to my family. Through a lot of friendships we've made here and the neighbors and the sense of community, extremely grateful. And after lots of prayers, lots of conversations with family, friends, and neighbors, I believe it's time for me to potentially resign from the planning and zoning board and take a step forward and serve our community in a greater capacity. And with that, with gratitude to this community and the people in it, I plan to or intend to qualify to run for city commissioner when qualification period opens up. My intention right now is to run for the incumbent seat held by Monty Farnsworth. This has always been about serving the community that I love. The people that call Newberry home, like we do. Our city's built on strong families and good neighbors. And people that really care about our community. So I want to continue to do my part and strengthen that community. Because, that's what makes Newberry a great place to be. A lot of you know me as that guy that posts on Facebook all the time and always trying to give back. And I just feel that this would be the next big step to help better serve our community. And so in the coming months, I look forward to spending time in the community a little bit more, listening to the neighbors. That's the thing. It's always a constant dialogue, right? I can't just be like, I'm not going to listen to you and just shut you down. No, talk to me. Let's find out where you got information from, where I got information from, and let's meet somewhere in the middle. And just learn. That's really how you learn. It's by listening to other people and listening to concerns. And so I'm going to be around the city in the community, trying to listen to more neighbors and learning from the people. And once qualifying begins, that's when I'll officially launch a page. And for more information, meets and greets, if you haven't met me or greeted me already, and host a couple town events, ask some of them, maybe local shops, like, Two Sisters is one of my favorite coffee shops. Maybe I could do something there. But at this moment, I just ask for your continuous prayers for me. I'm always open to your perspective on things. And I would really, any encouragement, any feedback, greatly appreciated. But definitely above everything else, just continue to pray for me and my family as we journey on this next step. So sorry I took a little longer.
Oh,
Hope nobody passed their bedtime on that one, but
no, it's just like,
yeah.
hey, congratulations.
Congratulations on your.
Good, yes, congratulations.
I been doing this for as long as I have. I appreciate anybody willing to step up and offer themselves up in service of this community. Because it is a great.
We're fine. Volunteers is tribute.
No, I think we hit most of the highlights already. Oral history, the silent auction. A little bit on growth or lacrosse, barbecue and blues, NHA benefit. Get your tickets ahead of time. The election is on April 14th. And qualifying, I think, is the last week or third to the last week of last week of February. And yeah, I appreciate y'all coming out and participating in the process. It's obviously very important. And we try to, I try to keep the meetings like organized without being militant. But there are some legal things that I have to sort of follow, and I get twitchy about like how much minutes we get and try to be flexible and let there be some dialogue back and forth so it doesn't feel like it's just a one-way conversation, because that sucks. So with that, I think we're done, right? I think we're done. Meeting adjourned.
This is really.
No, it felt long.
We're always the first.
Planning and zoning meets the first Monday of every month. And the commission meets the second and fourth Monday of every month. So this meeting gets wrapped up in sort of a summary by the staff. If they